Before we start into this video, I want to say, gentlemen, patience is king. Patience is king. I broke this amplifier a lot trying to figure out what was wrong with it. I think you guys are going to get a kick out of it, so make sure to watch the whole video. With enough patience, enough parts, and enough time, and enough money, anything is fixable. And this is living proof. On that note, let's get on with it. Gentlemen, I'll see you. Let's go. Another one down, another one down, another one bites the dust. Hey. What we have here is a very interesting modification on an SB220. This is an SB220, by the way. Let's see if I can overexpose this enough. Yep, SB220. Very interesting indicator knobs. These have been painted black or dyed. No, these are actual legit black plastic. The thing I think is cool is the band selector. So it's supposedly set up for 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10. 160 is a new one to me. This is standby operate instead of your calibrate for your power. High volt and grid. It's still got that third meter position in it. On, off, CW, and SSB. And the case has been cut in half, so it's a split unit. I have no idea what's going on in this thing. It just showed up here. This belongs to my friend Kevin. We call him affectionately and with much love and respect, Q-Ball. Q-Ball was the man in Vegas for a long time. Then he moved to Utah. And he's getting ready to move again. But my friend Q-Ball, I need to go through this for him. We got some dents in the lid that we're going to bang out. We'll probably repaint the tin for him because it's looking a little rough. My friend Q-Ball, I love this guy. I don't know, me and him just clicked. A big old boy, at least he was. Excuse me. It's a little dusty in here. I've been cleaning all morning. I'm so excited as I'm getting through these projects. The amount of clutter here is very slowly disappearing. I don't know how else to describe it. I can almost stand at workbench number 2. And eventually I'll get over to workbench number 3 where the lathe and the mill's at, and I'll be able to get all the stuff away from the in front of that. Got a couple amps I got to send back to people over there, and I got a couple Heath kits over here I got to do. One belongs to my buddy Zane, and then the other one belongs to, I can't remember the guy's name. Anyhow, back on topic, I got myself distracted. Remember, I'm ADHD, so it's, shiny keys, my brain goes some other direction. I have no idea what we're going to see on the inside. I have no idea what we've got to do, if anything, to get this going. All I know is I'm going to go through this today and I'm going to make it pristine as best as I can, and I'm going to make everything work as well as I can. So let's grab a screwdriver and let's get the lid off. So it's only got one screw holding the lid on, which will fix all of that, Kevin, don't worry. Kevin used to be a bone breaker in the early days of Vegas, amongst many other things. One of his primary job functions in this universe was a contract negotiator for the mob. I mean the unions. Sorry, I spoke way out of turn there. Which meant he was the one that people called to make problems go away back in the day. Oh boy. Okay. Oh boy. God, Q-Ball, why do you buy some of this stuff? Okay, let's take the bottom off. So the output network has been completely butchered and removed, is be the best way to put it. And yeah. Parts falling out of the back of it already. That's awesome. Yeah, so the LED indicator lights that are behind the faceplate, they are hooked up to some Quasimodo switch. We're going to take the whole faceplate off. I'll show you guys here in a minute. Cue Ball is famous for buying some of these dumpster fires. His well, some of you might remember. Oh boy. His Texas Star that he's got, I affectionately refer to it as the dumpster fire because it literally has been on fire. God, Cue Ball, how do you find these things? Okay, so it's got eBay Chinesium tube sockets, which are not the greatest in the world in it. I assume this is our high voltage pass-through. That's not safe. This had to be pushed down, and it was shorting against the case to put the bottom lid on it. Our filament choke is disintegrated. This is all burned up. This is burned up. This relay's fried. It does have the soft start key in it. The 120 volt 220 board is broken. I don't know what this does. It looks like some Jenny Meth, Crystal Meth Smoke, and Crackhead put this together for him down here. The fan has been burned up and replaced, it looks like. Let's count the number of butt splices in this. 1, 2, 3 that I can find for the fan. Filament transformer leads have all been cut and extended. This is the low-high switch. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, let's take a look at the top again. So it's got some aftermarket plate choke in it. These are like hacked out of an Ameritron. It's got a bunch of doorknobs in it. Over here on the wall. And I think this is a handmade capacitor bank. It does have the Harbach high volt board on it, but the problem with that is the filter bank is laying against the high volt board. It does have 2 meters and an interesting vinyl over face. Boy. Boy, the longer I look, the worse this gets. I love you, Kevin. Man, you got a gift for picking this shit. I'm telling you. I got another one over here by Kevin that's, or for Kevin, that's RM Italy. pile of shit. I mean, literally, it's a pile of shit. I want to take it out and throw it in a dumpster, but it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to my friend Kevin. Down in here is scary. This is scary. Like, I have an idea though. I have an idea. I think I got a mutual solution for this entire problem. I think there might have been some crystal meth, some Jenny crank, I think there might be some higher end drug use going on with the construction of this thing. I really do. I called my friend Kevin. I told him, oh buddy, you officially get the award of being able to, and this guy's got a knack, I'm telling you. He's got, listen, we all have God-given gifts, right? God gives all of us gifts. Some guys, they have a wiener that when they unzip their pants, it goes zip and falls out on the counter, right? And like, okay, like, you know, most of us don't have that gift. Contrary to popular belief, we're all compensating for something someplace. Some of us have the gift for gab. Myself. Some have said at some point or another that I might have the gift to solder, let's say. Some people have the gift of not ever quitting or giving up. Some other people have the gift of beauty. Some other people have the gift of, you know, being born into very rich families. Some people have the gift of hustle in them. My friend Kevin has the gift of finding the biggest giant bags of dumpster fire, spending way too much frickin' money on them, and then in turn sending them here thinking that I'm going to be able to quickly do some kind of work with them. I love my friend Kevin. I love my friend Kevin. But he has got the worst God-given gift when it comes to something like this. Listen, my friend Kevin is maybe getting a little on there in years, and I just want him to have a very good, all-band, fully functional amplifier. I'm not going to do it with this. I'm just not. I literally, mentally, emotionally cannot. Yeah, that was in there well. I told him, I said, Kevin, there's some parts here that we can save. And then there's some of this stuff that we just need to take out and throw away. And he says, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, there's literally parts to this thing that, well, here's a prime example. This screw just come out of this cap bank. I told him I could spend 2 days rebuilding this, or I have another option for him. He goes, well, what's the other what? Oh my God. Oh my God. He goes, what's the other option? I said, well, the other option is that I have my personal SB220 sitting here. And it's been sitting here for like 8 years. And I'm not going to lie, there might have been a little bit of scavenging going on over the years with my personal amplifier. As in, like, I have maybe robbed a part or two out of it over time to make sure I could get other people's stuff running. And that's not a bad thing. That's just me helping out other people. I have long since graduated past the point where I'll ever use this SB220 ever again. Ever. As a practice, I don't hulk these things out and keep them around here. But that is the closest that I have to a completed SB220 that I can physically part with, if that makes any sense. So what I want to do, and what I proposed to my friend Kevin, is that I take some parts out of this pile of shit and maybe build, create, modify, or do whatever I've got to do. Yeah, see, like, there's nothing wrong with this board. It's just all the circuitry around it is for fucked shit, right? So that blocker's no good. Then there's all these other blockers that have been added. For what reason? We don't know. I told him, how about we take my personal amp, rob some parts out of this one, and let's build one very nice, clean SB220 for you to use for the next 10, 15 years of your life. And he goes, I like that plan. I said, I figured you would. I really figured you would. So we'll hulk this down. I'll take the plate transformer and the filament transformer out of this thing, and we'll break it down for its base components, and then, yeah. But let me go get my personal SB220 off the shelf, and let's determine what we're working with here. Okay. So this is what's left of my personal SB220. I don't know where the armor's at. I think I sold it. But that's okay. We can use his armor. In here, this is the amp that I taught myself how to modify everything with, right? So if we go and we look at the bottom of it, you'll see it's got scribbled notes all on the bottom of it. It's got an upgraded relay in it. But everything in here is intact. It's got a really cool auto sense key circuit in it. So this has got an aftermarket soft key that I built into it. I built this board, built the whole thing. It's got a little switch here on the front, which will fix it so it kicks up and down. This thing's been sitting on the shelf for a better part of a decade. It's missing the plate transformer, but you'll see on the bottom I've got notes on where everything goes. This is me thinking almost 20 years ago at this point, right? It came with this huge aftermarket fan in the back, which I'm going to leave this fan in there for nostalgia reasons, but it literally has, and it came with this. When I bought this from my buddy Baker, man, it had this wall, like this is something you put in a wall outlet to vary the speed of the fan up and down. We're going to leave that in there. It's missing one of the output tuners and a plate transformer, but it's like 99% here. I mean, it's got a little wobble in the cabinet over here, but that's nothing. So I'm missing the high volt board, which we'll steal out of his. We'll steal the plate transformer out of this. We'll steal his armor. We'll use my side plate because it's in way better condition than his. We'll use my top lid because it's in way better shape than his. We'll use his tubes. And I mean, there's like a bunch of little things that are done to this that make this really cool. Let's look at this. So this little removable port, if a guy was to do this to his own amplifier, if you go right for the 15-meter selector and then drill a hole in the face, just a small hole, you can take a tuning screwdriver and stick it right in. You can adjust it. It allows you to adjust the 10-meter position, which allows you to adjust it up for 10 or adjust it down for 12 on the input by drilling a hole in the face. We're going to leave that alone too. So we'll steal his tuner out of his amp. So we're going to take the tuner out of his. We're We're going to take the plate transformer out of his. We're going to take the high voltage rectifier board out of his. We'll graft all of that into this. We'll use his tubes, and he'll be off to the races and running for a whole lot less work than what I'm going to put into rectify and saving that thing. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see, this has the Harbach capacitor bank upgrade to it. It's actually got the mounting body around it. There's more usable stuff to work with here than there is over here. This has got the good American-made sockets in it. It's got the plate choke in it. The band selector and all the stuff inside of here isn't all chewed up. It's relatively clean. I won't have to spend any time cleaning other than knocking the dust off of it. This is a way better route for us to go versus trying to resurrect this crystal mess smoked dinosaur over here. Way easier. Just all the way around easier. Every conceivable way. So it's like I told him, this Hulk isn't worth a lot to me anymore. It's not. It's given its life many times over, and I'm going to ask it to give a little bit more for my friend Kevin. It's got 2 working meters in it. It's got a good band selector in it. All the output, plate choke and all that kind, all this stuff over here is all good in stock. All I got to do is put a transformer in it, a rectifier board in it, a tuner in it, and we're done. Versus this. And he said that sounded great. So this is what I'm going to spend the rest of my afternoon doing. The first thing that we're going to do is we'll graft the tuner out of this one into here. And that's on the tune side, so it's going to the tubes. We'll get that put up in here. I thought I had more pieces of this box. I didn't realize I'd stole so much stuff out of it over the years. But this will run forever for him. He'll be able to use it on 80 through 10 because all of that stuff in here is working. And for the money point that I'm gonna hook him up on this amp for, I mean, we're talking almost $2,000 to completely restore this pile of shit versus like $500 or $600 for me to get this running for him, and it's gonna be perfect for him. It's gonna be perfect for him. So there's nothing left to do other than just to do it. Let us start. Let's get the tuner grafted over. So let's come down in here. We just basically have a bare space. So I'll pull the tuner out of the other one, slide it in here, and we'll get this all mounted up, and then we'll go from there. So got the transformer mounted up. As in like it's physically in the cabinet. I got the input tuner installed, or the tune capacitor installed here. Now, come on, down here. I removed this from the circuit. I don't know what I was thinking. All this does is add inductor to the circuit. I don't remember what my logic was there. So all I got to do now is wire up the plate transformer and tag this on here to the voltage doubler portion of the circuit, and then tag this onto the board. So moving right along, we'll get the transformer hooked up, all these leads hooked up here, and we'll get this all wired in, and we'll get the Harbach board installed here. I'll go through and clean this up and go over it. Screw down. Interesting. I gotta check everything. We'll go over this with a fine-tooth comb, and if it needs any parts replaced, we'll throw them on there real quick. If I need to do anything, I'll come back and we'll cover it. We'll get all the wires hooked up here in the front, and it'll be time to play with the tubes after we get some stuff done here in the RF deck, like new parasitics, and we'll tie into the new blocker. The other amp, believe it or not, had a really good blocking capacitor that was pretty stout. For some reason it had 3 Sprague 1000 puff doorknobs in the cabinet on the case side. I think what they were trying to do is get enough capacitance added to the circuit to make it resonant for 160 meters. And out of that 3, they had one of them that was really solid. The one that was in here was soft. It was way soft. And I would question myself nightly as I go to sleep thinking, man, is that cap going to blow up on my friend Kevin? Makes sense? So, yeah, moving along. I hope he enjoys this. I know he's going to get a lot of good use out of this box. He's going to talk a lot of skip on this amp. But, hey, it's for a friend. So, I have a short someplace. And I believe it's in the RF deck. And I'd like to believe that it is one of these caps. And my little short screwdriver. Let's turn the variac off. I have brought this thing up really slow on a variac. Well, because that's what you're supposed to do, but first I had the short and I popped the glitch. That's this resistor. Okay. So, replaced the glitch, checked all the diodes, checked all the caps, reserted everything, put a new glitch in it, and then ran it up again, but this time with the RF deck disconnected. There's supposed to be a 0.001 disc capacitor that goes from here to ground, 1000 picofarad. I gotta check the glitch resistor. I have a feeling though it's this blocker. Just my gut instinct. Ran it up again after I hooked up the RF deck. Okay, so we're still good. And got a little out of it. So now let's run it up again. I think it's that blocker. I really do. Or the bypass cap. I want to get down just in case the shrapnel, the glitch decides it's going to depart the picture here. The tubes are good. They light. Here comes our fan. Alright. So let's go ahead and bring this back up on the high volt setting. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. That blocker's bad. I don't think I got another 1000. I mean, I got more coming, but... Alright. This mamma jammer here is bad. It's breaking down, arcing through internally on a cap, and it's running to ground on the glitch choke on the bottom of the box, and it's shorting that out. That glitch resistor is there to protect the rest of the circuit, the capacitors, the plate transformer, and the rectifying diodes. It blows me away that most of my amplifier building friends don't understand how this works. Blows me away. Simple, very cheap part that it's the weakest link, designed weakest link in the chain. So anything else shorts out or has a problem, this goes poof. All right, so let the high voltage bleed off. We ground this out. We find another blocker. We throw it in there. We bring it up slowly on the variac and see if it pops. Okay, a few moments later, doorknob in question. But you know what? Let me test this real fast. Because it was testing within spec. As far as its capacitance value, I didn't high pot it or nothing. Oh, 940? Nah. Nah. Okay. Safety squints. Let's get down out of the way. And here we go. There's a fan. Okay, let's just sit here and watch it for a second or two. All right, let's put a little more pressure on it. Now we got a hard leak. All right, let's go find out where it came apart at. Fun. Fun, right? So weird, I went back and replayed the video of this thing dying a horrible death. So you can see it's good and disformed. And it showed it arcing back here, which didn't make any sense. So, okay, this test, what we've done is we've pulled the bypass doorknob out and the blocking doorknob out. So now basically what we're testing is if I got a leak from here or through any of this other stuff, which I know I probably don't. Still, doesn't hurt to try it. So let's go ahead, we'll run this up on a variac. Oh, shit. Helps to turn the switches on, right? Okay, so no leak. No leak. So this is the part that I normally just keep from you guys and I don't bother showing you because I find it incredibly boring. Run it up, slowly, turn it off. 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 Lame. It's lame. It's lame. Okay. So primary blocker is now in play. Let's see what happens. I'll throw that in the fuck-it bucket. All right. Nope. That little was all it took. There's a leak in it still. Okay. Okay. Test number 5, I think. Okay, now we sit and watch. If you guys had any clue how many hours I spend sitting, watching, waiting, watching, waiting, watching, running bolts up, running bolts down. Let's try the lower tap. I think we got it though. Ended up having to scavenge the last 2 doorknobs out of that pile of shit over there in the corner. I got a whole bunch more of HTC ceramic 1000 puffers coming. I didn't realize I was out till yesterday when I worked on that other SP220. So that was like my last one. Okay, so we're at 120 volt. Well, I guess we don't have it. Oh, I'm gonna wait for the right parts. You know you've gone down a rabbit hole when you're starting to... Oh wow, this stuff is sticky. This is called Joe's Sticky Stuff. This is a commercial grade double-sided stick tape that they use in Hollywood. This is a prop master's secret. I've been watching a lot of YouTube stuff on how they do videos or how they do movies and stuff, and that popped up. It's called Joe's Sticky Stuff. I'm gonna see how it goes in testing. I might use it to hold down relays in the future instead of VHB. So I got to thinking last night, when this thing would blow its glitch resistor, that the only thing, the glitch resistor will fail when there is any kind of short. It doesn't necessarily have to be the blockers. I can't see. I mean, I'd probably put a half a dozen blockers in this thing and different bypass caps, right? And I got brand new ceramics in there right now, and it was popping those. And then I started watching the voltmeter needle. It clicked in my head because I get focused on one thing. I was weird indentation index on this. The voltmeter index, or the voltmeter, was going, and it was popping all the way down. Usually when I see something like that take place, my brain starts to think maybe there's something wrong in the filter bank. Now I know there's probably somebody out there in YouTube land who was like, haha, I knew it. We don't know anything yet. This is an old Harbach filter bank that's in here. It's over 10 years old. Remember, we're working on something that was built in the 50s, 60s, right? But this cap bank's pretty old, and it was used to me when I got it. So, I mean, this is the only thing left I haven't really checked, and I'm really tired of putting glitch resistors in this. I mean, we're up to 5. I finally got it to hold on the low volt last night. I have a very strong feeling that it's most likely this cap bank that was causing our failures, and I think I was just chasing my tail last night, but maybe not. I've got the old Atlas ESR tester, and I want to see what these caps all test out at. We might have one that's got a really, really, really degraded ESR, like it's got a really high internal resistance. I got a couple extra caps just chilling. I got probably 6 more of those sitting around here, scattered throughout and buried in different totes and containers. So my goal here this morning, because now we're on to day number 2 of this. My goal here this morning is to pull this board off, check these caps, and if I need to, I want to drop out a couple of these that have got a high ESR value, or pardon me, low ESR value to them. That'll be high ESR. Anyhow, if they don't come up to snuff, we're going to change them out, and we're going to see if we can get this thing going, because we're at the tail end of this story, and the only thing I got left to do after this is I got to rehab the case. And I can't wait to show you how this fan setup works. It's a little hokey, but it's friggin' awesome, because you can turn it up to jet blast mode or leave it down at nice quiet, sit in the room with it and listen to it mode. You know what I mean? So let me get this board off. Let's see what we got going on here for results. We'll be back. Okay, so here's our test results. This one is 258.7 UF at 0.22, 256.2 at 0.22, 254.3 at 2.2, 255.0 at 0.22, 256.2 at 22 ohms, 0.22 ohms, or 0.22 ohms, 256.2 at 0.24, 253.6 at 0.25 of an ohm, and 256.2 at 0.23 ohm, which is good. These are all testing great. So then I came along and I checked them with this meter, the Deere. 250 at 0.187, 250 at 0.173, 246. Here, you guys can read it. They're all pretty much within 1 or 2 UF of each other all the way down. None of these are leaky, none of these are open, none are showing leak in circuit. I'm going to have to go with it's not the cap bank. Now, something else could be happening as soon as we induce high voltage into the cap, but I don't know. So how about we go from this? We're going to put the bleeder board back on, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to disconnect anything going to the RF deck again, and we're going to run it up, and we're going to run it a little bit over in voltage and see if we have a breakdown. If we don't have a breakdown with a little bit higher voltage, then we have to assume that we're actually physically having failures with literally a dozen doorknobs, which I cannot believe, but that's okay. I mean, weirder things have happened. Normally this is a wham bam thank you ma'am. Like I said, I got a whole bunch of HTC ceramic caps coming. I was just hoping to get all this done in one day for this guy, and while we're on day number 2, and I think it's from the lack of new good parts is why we're having this problem, but it's okay. We're going to work through it, and if I got to get another cap bank and got to wait until we get the right doorknobs, then that's what we're going to do. But I want to do this one more test. I want to put this whole thing back together. I want to disconnect the high voltage here and run it up. If we don't have any leaks, then I'm going to disconnect the doorknobs, run it up and let it set. If we don't have any leaks, then I'm going to put the blocker in play, run it up. If we don't have any leaks, then we know it's a bypass cap. This new one that I put in, this ceramic that I found. Let's see what happens. Safety squints. All right. Slide this over to where I can actually see it too. All right, so we got our 1,000,000,000 to 1 reduction probe here. Those aren't the real numbers, so don't quote me on that. It's a cajillion to 1, by the way. Here we go. 1 tech. Holding steady at 2,500 volts. It's at 115 volts input. We're at 3,100 volts steady on the plate. It's 120 volt line voltage now going in. Pretty negligible, not a lot of ripple. Back it down to 110 volts. Huh. Just the way that was failing yesterday really, yeah, it just really was like, okay. And as I'm sitting here, I have an amp that I can go rob one of these out of. 2 brand new ceramic blockers, because I own it. And when I get new ones in, I can just put them in that. All right, let's let this bleed down, and then we'll ground out. We'll isolate, and insulated pointy stick. We'll do the bypass cap first, and we'll leave the blocker disconnected. But that's a brand new cap. That's just a higher kV. Instead of being 7.5 kV, it's like 14 or 15 kVA. So let this bleed down. Next step, we'll hook up the high voltage and run it with none of the blockers attached. And that allows us to know if we've got leakage going on here on our pass-through and back here on our plate choke mount. We normally, yeah. Okay. I'm so excited about the parts I just found. I totally forgot I even had them. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. Let's get down here out of the shrapnel range. And contact. .20 volt line voltage going in. All right, let her bleed down, and we'll put that 1000 puff bypass cap in play. Okay. Well, I think we found our problem. I'm running out of things to replace here. So the filament transformer is what gave up on this last go around. What we heard arcing and sparking, that was part of it. I Had to replace some diodes, and I completely took the whole board out and repaired it. The high voltage of this is just fine. This smokes. It's stinking like. I wish there was smell-o-vision, because if you could smell this, oh my God. I'm hustling along because I want to get done with this amp. I'm running out of things to replace. I just got the new filament transformer mounted. I've got to run this wire to there, and this wire to there, or pardon me, this wire to there, that wire to there, this one to here, that one to there, that one over to there, and that one over to there. And then we can try again after I re-hand tie this whole thing. I ain't giving up though. I'm not gonna give up. So we've got 120 volts going in, and we've got 2,500 volts and floating. Of course, my line voltage is floating up and down a little bit too. Of course not, there it is. So we're seeing a little tiny bit of float, not a lot, about 1/10 of a volt. We're seeing about a 10 or 20 volt float over here. This is the longest this thing has run without blowing anything. I got the bypass cap in there attached that was in there when it snapped, crackled, and popped. I honestly think a lot of the problems that we had going on were from the filament transformer. I mean, I'd love to be a... Yeah, see, the transformer's not even getting hot. This thing was smoking earlier. Okay, so finally I get to show you this little feature. Check this out. So it's variable, so it's really quiet. All the way up to hold your Jesus underwear. Telling you. Always ran it right about there. Never had a problem. Grid meter's all zeroed out. With the other transformer, it was taking a grid meter and making it go. Okay. Let's put this upgraded blocker in there. This 15 kV 1000 or 18 kV 1000er. Let's throw this in there and let's see if it goes kaboom. Okay. So, where we left off is we had a different blocker in here. I changed that back to one of the good doorknobs that we had. None of the meters were working appropriately. The only thing that was working was the plate voltmeter. Now we have plate amp and it's reading accurately. We've got grid meter working. Yeah, oh yeah, you've seen the watt meter, right? Okay, so let me show you what we got going on. This is a 1000 watt slug. In peak, 1000 in average. All right, we're in 1X. And this is how much drive we're putting in it. Focus. Hello, 1111. Hello. That's 650-ish, 625 watts. And that's us going through the Variac, by the way. But this drove me crazy, the meters. I'm like, okay, let's stop. Let's back up. Let's go look at this from the beginning. So we changed that to filament transformer, and then everything started to click. And I honestly think that the filament transformer was 99% of the problem. I've never had one present like that before. And so I'm like, all right, I got it going. It made some watts. And so then I go and I check my bias voltage, and it was way off. And I thought, well, let's go back and let's go rework the board. So I went and I got a bunch of, what were they, 600 volt, 6 amp diodes. So way more beefy than what comes on the board stock, and went and double checked every freaking resistor, because this little green one right here, that one right there, is what drives the voltmeter, and it was being way generous. It was showing that we had like 3,200 volts on the plate when really in real life we only had like 29. So I went, okay, maybe this one's off. So I checked it, and this is the one. It's a 3.3K or 3.4K for the plate amp meter, and it was reading 10 ohms. The glitch was still working okay, but then the resistor that sits below it down here was, it's supposed to be a 1 ohm, and it was reading half an ohm. So I was like, well, let's pull all the diodes, let's start all the way over, let's rebuild the board fresh. We got our grid meter back, we've got plate amp meter back, and we've got an accurate voltmeter. And the tubes are working great. 20 watts worth of drive, 600, almost 650 out. All right, so all the bugs worked out now. Now we can work on, let's make it work. One, we're gonna load it up for 220. So we'll get off the Variac because we don't need it anymore. We know it's not gonna come apart. And two, we're gonna see what it does on 80 meters, and then we'll see what it does on 40 and 20, and so on across the band all the way up to 10. Okay, here's the 80 meters, 11111, that's talking through it. Hello, 1 2, that's transmitting into it. This is a 1,000 watt slug and peak, and that's 1,000 in average. Pardon me, 1,000 watt slug and 2x. Hello. So 1,500 watts. The meters say hello, 11 11, and the knobs are set here. The reason we show the knobs is so that the next person down the line can have an idea where they need to index the knobs to get the thing to work on the frequency. That way they're not chasing around. Here we go. Let's go to 40. 40. 111111. Talking through it. Hello, 1 2. That's into the amplifier. Output power. Hello. 1,300 watts again. Meters from the front say hello, 1 2 1 2. And the knobs are adjusted to here. Okay. Let's go to 20. 20. 111111, talking through, no problem. Hello, 11111. Input's perfectly flat. Here's our output power once again. Hello. 1,300 watts once again. Knobs are set right there. 15, here we come. Okay, same song and dance as before. 1111111111, talking through it, no problem. Hello, 1 2, perfectly flat. Let's go over here. Hello, 1 2. Same as before, and our knobs are set right here. If it'll let us focus. Okay, 10 meters. 10 meters. 11111111. 111111. And output power. Hello, 111111. The knobs are set here. Now, there is one other mod that I want to do to this. I want to add a little bit of capacitance to the pass-through tune, so we can get that to lay down nice and flat, because that's something new I've cooked up since I was playing with this particular amp. But I did kind of spend an awful lot of time with this amp running in the 10 meter position somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And being that my friend, Mr. Cue Ball, is an OG 10 meter man, I think it's probably best, or 11 meter man, I think it's probably best that maybe we put a little bit more drive in it. The thing that's got me so excited is that his old matchlet tubes are still 100%-ish. I want to drive it a little bit more. Can you blame me? Okay, cue ball, I will change this if you absolutely want it. We're going to maybe work on 10 meters if you want to, but I just want to show you something. This is 1111111111111. Just a couple hundred watts of drive. Hello. Hello. That's on the stop peg. Now, for you guys that say I'm hard on the power supply or I'm ripping the grids up or whatever the words are that are leaving your face, say hello. A little bit of pressure on the power supply, but we're not murdering it. Like, it's not like this is all the way over at the end at 1 amp draw, you know what I mean? Alright, so we flipped it over to the 5 watts or the 5x scale. So now the 10 is 1,000, 2 is 2,000 of course, 3 is 2,000, 4 is 4,000, 40, 10, 20, 30, 40, add a couple zeros, right? Hello, 1 1, hello, 1 1 1 1, hello, 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, hello. And then if you really want to get to talking on it, we can turn up our airflow. Hello, 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, hello, 1 1 1 1 1 1, hello. Hello. Now, are some up advantages here to this blower. It is a little bit louder, but there are some pretty big up advantages to it. It is directly up to this wall. So it pulls cool air in from the outside grill and also the inside portion of the cabinet. So it pulls a little bit of air across the plate transformer, but it sits a lot lower than the stock fan. So it puts air across the pins on the bottom of the tube. So that means that solder drop with this box out of the bottom of the pins is not a thing. Gentlemen, Cue Ball's Dumpster Fire 2.0. Everything I've ever worked on for him has gone like this. That's okay. I love my friend. Might taken a couple days, but I paid the poor man. I'm going to charge the poor man like maybe $500-600. I feel like he's gotten a raw deal. Because remember, he thought he was buying this. And he ended up getting this. So my heart goes out for the man. It really does. Like I said, he's a good friend of mine, and it's no inconvenience whatsoever. Cue Ball, have fun. Like I said, I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to add some capacitance to the relay so we got a little bit better output tune in the higher HF frequencies. That'll help with your receive a bunch. And put some clips on it. We'll get the tins on it for the feet. Dude, check out your tins. Remember this old beat down set of tins that you sent up here? It was all dented in, the top was all crushed in. Look at that. See where it was all bent in on the inside? I beat all that out. It's got nice high gloss now, backed up with crinkle paint, epoxy paint on it. It's turned out perfect. From the outside, you wouldn't even know that this is used. I even got the bottom side to be all squared away. I mean, the bottom side was boinked up, man. But we got it fairly straight. Got the sides fairly straight. This lip on the front edge of this thing was a mess through here. Got that all fixed up. So, yeah. I'm proud to say I did this one. Thank you, Tom, for selling me this amp 13, 14 years ago. It's going to go on to somebody that loves it. Okay, let's get this thing wrapped up. I want to show it to you guys in a completed state. Well, cue ball, it's all done. It's all put together, and I can't wait to bring it to you in just a few weeks. In conclusion, I want to say, listen, I've never had 1% like this before. And so it took a little bit more work than what I was planning. It's okay, persistence. With enough parts and enough time and enough energy, anything can be fixed. So you just have to be patient and work through the problem one step at a time. I appreciate everybody that tuned in and followed me along through this saga. I know it was a nightmare. I know it was long. It was a pain in the ass. But we took this roached out pile of junk that somebody dumped on QRZ. Now it's pretty bad when QRZ is starting to turn into the new eBay, but I mean, I haven't had that happen to me yet, but I've had quite a few horror stories like that. It's a shame. Cue ball, your dumpster fire is repaired. I think you're going to get many conversations with this thing. And I'm really excited to bring it down to you here shortly. So, gentlemen, on that note, I want to give a super shout out to the Patreons that'll let us sit here for over an hour without any ads. YouTube has now changed their thing. They're going to try and go back and insert more ads into video. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to keep it to where I can't keep the ads out of the content. YouTube is so desperate and there's so much greed to show profit that even for people like me that opt out of the ad program for the majority portion of it, they're going to start putting ads in there anyhow. It sucks. They just sent us this huge email stating that, congratulations, we're going to do it for you, which is corporate America speak for saying, F you, we don't care what you want. But for right now, I want to thank the Patreons for letting us be able to be together for this amount of time without ads. I work on the one-to-one system. I produce the content. If you guys want to help support it, come join me on Patreon. I appreciate you, bro. I'll see you soon. Gentlemen, my name is BBI, and without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. And I'll see you. Peace. Click, click.